Hi guys, welcome to Consult 101 Module 2. Here we'll be solving a few guesstimates. Today on call with us is Ashish. He was the IPR core and got his way into Octus Advisors. So welcome Ashish. Thanks a lot for joining in.
Hi, Ayush. Thanks a lot for having me.
Hi. So guys, we'll be trying to replicate an interview room as much as possible by solving a guesstimate here. So learn from it and make sure when you're practicing cases with your partners, it is done in a similar way. With that being said, let's get started. So hi Ashish, how are
Hi,
you?
all good, Touchman. How about you?
I'm fine, thank you. So Ashish, where do you come from?
I'm from Bombay.
You're from Bombay. So let's just take this case. So one of our clients has approached us saying that they want to start a cab business. A cab business where they'll only shuttle people from airport to their homes.
All right.
Okay. And the concern they have is what is the ideal number of cabs with which they should start their business? So could you sort of do a guesstimate here and help them out?
All right. So let me just make clear if I understand the problem correctly. So when we talk about this cab service, it's for people from shuttling. It's basically airport shuttle service. You specifically mentioned
Mhm.
home. So is it only for private use, or are they also looking for commercial usage? When I say this, I mean, are you looking at families and personal usage, or you're talking about offices as well? Is there a restriction on that front?
No, there's no restriction.
Right. So it's any kind of shuttling to and fro from
Right,
the airport, right?
correct,
And
right.
we are trying to estimate the fleet size that they should be looking at for Bombay Airport, right? Um,
Perfect.
all right. I think I have a fair understanding. I think it's safe to assume for the proceedings, I'm not factoring in the causalities of COVID right now. I'm just going for a normal situation. I hope that's all right.
Makes sense.
All right. So I'll just take a minute. I'll just think about a couple of factors that could, affect this entire situation. Come up with a brief overview of how I'll be proceeding with the calculations that would thereafter follow. I hope that's fine.
Sure, sure. Take it in.
Hmm. All right. So I think the kind of approach I would wish to go forward in this particular case is, since we're trying to understand the fleet size, let's just solve for the peak hour and the peak
Mhm.
situation, because if we have a fleet size that can accommodate that, it definitely can accommodate all the intermediate positions. That is the maximum sort of use case we need to be sufficient for. And the approach that I would
Okay.
want to look at thereafter is, trying to see the number of active people who would be requiring cabs at that particular point in time. And in order to do this, the
Mm-hmm.
approach I would suggest is going through the number of flights that I can expect in
Mm-hmm.
an hour at the
Mm-hmm.
peak duration. uh, Thereafter, finding the number of passengers on board, using a couple of factors that I would add in between to, arrive at the segment of people within them who would be cab
Mm-hmm.
users. And I think thereafter
Okay.
we might have to do a bit of discussion to see how many of them we want to consider as our customers for this particular cab business. That should arrive at the
Mm-hmm.
total number of cabs that we are looking at. I guess this. I hope this is a workable approach I can proceed with.
Yes, that makes sense. You can go ahead with it.
All right. So another assumption I would like to do at this point in time is, since you mentioned particularly the Bombay airport, I am considering both the a combined overview of both the airports, both the domestic and international. So when I say the total number of flights or the number of people coming in and out, all this number that I'll be working on, I'm just assuming it's an equivalent number as an overall number. I wouldn't be bifurcating for the two. I hope that's fine because that just adds to complexity, which is not particularly relevant,
So, one thing here, a normal flight size for a domestic flight is around flight capacity is around 180,
right?
while for an international flight it's something around 400.
True.
So, do you think this will be justified?
I was going to go with an average,
Makes sense. Yeah.
right? So it factors in both as well, right? So I would say, firstly, now I'll just take some minute. I'll take a minute to understand how do I want to estimate the number of flights because that also requires a bit of thought. So I'll just take a minute there.
Sure.
All right. So right now, the way I'm looking at it right now is I'm looking at a peak hour. All the runways will be in complete utilization for
Okay.
takeoff and landing of
Hmm.
planes. And from my understanding of at least airports, I hope you can correct me here if I'm wrong. There are separate or multiple runways at every airport for
Okay.
takeoff and landing. It's not like the
Yeah.
same is used. It's a very small airports that utilize that mechanism. So
Uh-huh.
I will just do a factor of two for both incoming and outgoing to get the total number
That's
of flights that are going
that's
through.
good.
Because
That's
obviously
good.
both will have a requirement of caps, which is why it has to be factored in. And as for now, I'll have to come up with an estimate as to how many runways are there. Because the way I see it, for a particular runway, from observation, from prior experience, and I mean from flying personally, I would say it takes about 10 minutes from clearance on a particular runway. So
You can consider two runways. That's good.
all right, and so I'll take two runways. So now let's say we talk about one particular runway. I think a
Hmm.
particular plane, from its time from taxiing till actually utilizing runway to clear, it's
Hmm.
about 10 minutes from experience because obviously you have to have sufficient gap between the planes as well. So let's
Okay.
say since we're talking about peak hour, it is completely under utilization. That is something we have established. So each runway will have about six planes taking
Hmm.
off or landing uh, at that particular runway, right? So now we have six. You mentioned the two runways, so that gives us 12 planes that are taking off.
Hmm.
At this point, I would want to ask the two runways you mentioned. Does it mean there are two both utilized for landing, or I can actually take it as a multiple of two again, so that I will have 24, as in 12 taking off and 12
No,
coming in?
I think 12 is a more suitable number. We can go ahead with it.
Fair enough. So, based on what you've established, I have about 12 flights per hour in
Hmm.
totality that are
Hmm.
utilizing this airport. And now, further on, based on this, I would want to understand how many people would be there. So now, something again that we discussed earlier, I would like to point out that the reason I wanted to go with an average number here is I feel, particularly Bombay Airport is quite active both in the international and domestic circuit. And since we're
Okay.
talking about full capacity utilization, it would be of no harm to assume that the equal number of flights in a peak hour both on a domestic and international circuit. So
Okay.
similarly, based on, as you mentioned, the capacities are about 200 and 400 for domestic and international respectively. I'm
Hmm.
going with an average of 300. It's equivalent.
It's fine.
So for a particular plane, I'm looking at 300 passengers on an average. So right now I'll just solve for a plane, and at the end I will bring in the multiplier of 12 to get the total number of people. So
Okay.
right now we have established per plane we have about 300 people. Now
Okay.
let's talk about the
So,
number. Yeah, go ahead.
Ashish, are you assuming 100% occupancy here?
Right, I was coming to that.
Okay.
Right, so that is a capacity. We have established the capacity right now. The next
Mhm.
aspect would be the number of people and analyzing the demographic on that aspect. Right.
Correct.
So right now, once again, since it is a peak time, I would say it would not be that harmful to go with a 90% occupancy,
Okay.
because at this point in time, like at any other point in time, you need to give it some more thought. We're talking about peak hours, things like business hours in the morning or at the end of the day. So taking something as 90, even 100, to be honest, would not be that far off in my personal opinion. But for convenience and for a practicality standpoint, let's go with 90%.
Makes sense.
So from 200, from 300, we come down to 270 odd passengers per plane. So we went from
Okay.
300 seats to 270 odd passengers. Now within this particular group, I would say we need. I'll just take a minute and see how I want to profile the people so as to understand how many of them could be potential cab users. Because the way I'm looking at it right now is the few factors that come into my mind is the purpose of transport, the purpose of
Uh-huh.
travel, and correspondingly what kind of transport they're more likely to use to get in and out of the airport region. So these are a couple of factors I'm thinking of. I'll just create some segments and get back to you in a minute.
Sure. Sure. Sure.
Alright. So right now, what I'm saying, what I can understand is, looking at peak hour traffic. Let's go. Firstly, try and see the kind of users. They're going to be either business travelers or leisure travelers. The kind
Okay.
of percentage split I view in them is right now something of 70-30. I would like to get your opinion on it. 70-30 or 60-40 would be more suitable.
So
I'm
we're
towards
talking about peak hours. That's morning and late night.
right.
Then I think giving more leverage to
Exactly, right. So I'll
business
stick with
purpose makes sense.
right. I'll stick with my 70-30 split in that aspect, in that sense. So I have a 70-30 split between business and family travels. So now I'll try and profile each of those two segments separately because I think they have very different characteristics altogether.
Makes sense.
So now when we look at business, there's quite a likelihood that these are individual travelers, right? So I can say that most of them are at best they'd be paired if they have colleagues flying with them. But in most case scenarios for business travels, they're alone. So for
Mhm.
simplicity's sake, I will just take them all as individual travelers, right? So now let's say within that segment of people, they are most likely to utilize cab service. Like whom they utilize for the cab service is something we'll break down a bit later. But in terms of cab usage, they're more likely to utilize it unless at their hometown. So let's say within the 70%, I will say about 80% of them are going to be utilizing a cab service, considering 20% have their own car or some other public other means of travel. So I have 80% of them. Now, amongst those people, let's say a small chunk of them would be utilizing pairing up, right? So they would be utilizing lesser cabs. So I can have a small factor that I would divide something of the order of 1.2, 1.3. Based on calculations, we can see if we have the time for it or not. But these two calculations will get to us the number of business travelers who are going to be utilizing cab services. Does this seem fair until here? I'll just work
Correct.
out the numbers, right?
Of course.
Just give me a second. So from 270 people, we have 70% of them. I'll just work out the math. Right. So that's about 190 people, which has to be factored in by 80% as was discussed.
Okay.
So 80% of this is going to be
Take around 150. That's good.
about 150 people, right? So again, if you want to do a small factor, let's say to accommodate the factor of people who are going to utilize the same cabs, going to use multiple cabs, we can get the number of cab requirements here to be something like 130. This would be
I
a
think
round number.
we don't need to make it more complicated. It's
All
totally
right.
fine.
So, like, so I'll just cancel it out. We stick with 150 on this particular channel. Right now, further on this aspect, I'll just quickly finish off the leisure traveler sites. So the reason why I wanted to bring that up is here is I would say on an average, people who are leisurely traveling are mostly with their family, or they'll have a colleagues or so. I can take the average as going to be something of the order of 2.5, considering lone travelers, couples, and families of four. So something of the order of 2.5 seems like a good average in my opinion. So from 270, when we do a factorization of 30%, I will get a number which I'll want to divide by 2.5 to get the number of cabs required, right? Or the number of groups in which the travel is going to be done. After that, I will want to put a percentage as to how many of them are going to be cab users. So I'll do that calculation and I'll just put a few more points forth in a minute as to how what would be the rationale as to coming up with that percentile. Just give me a minute. Right. So from 270, I'll just walk you through my calculations. From 270, 30% gives us about 80. Factoring it by 2.5, which is the division, we get about 32 groups who are going to be requiring some mode of transport. Now, I would say when people are traveling, most people obviously from personal travelers, some people do prefer using their own cars to go to going towards their uh, airport one way. Many people do opt for that alternative, from my understanding, and also a rest good chunk of them would be utilizing cars. So let's say something like a three-fourth fraction seems fair to me to understand how many people are going to be potential cab users. Of course, there are other modes of transport in the sense that you have your metros and buses out there. But from my personal understanding of the Mumbai airport, we don't have that much of a connectivity as such at that point in time. There are, of course, rickshaws and all that available. But the point is, people travel with a lot of luggage. So they are going to utilize something of a cab, in my opinion. So I think factoring this by something like reducing, let's say 75 to something 60% to factor in those who utilize autos or something like that, say, a 60% of the number which I have, which is 32, should give me the number of people who could be potential cab users. So
Fair
I
enough.
just quickly do that calculation and I come up to something of the order of 18. Right. So right now, just to give you a recap of the numbers, I have about 150 potential cab requests from the business side and about 80 cab requests from the what do you say
Leisure.
leisure travelers. Sorry for that. So this is the number I have. Obviously, each can be multiplied with 12 to get for the particular hour. That is something that's workable. Now, the last part of this, which I would want to factor in, is how many of them are going to be utilizing our service. Because we were said that we are a particular business for cab services. There, obviously, you have your public transport cab available. We have the black and yellow taxis here. We have Ola, Uber, and all. So we need to see what chunk of these we can procure. And an additional factor we need to keep in mind is business travelers often have their own company cars coming in.
Yes.
So the kind of, I could say right now we are more on the market share aspect. How much of them we can actually capture, right? So I'll just quickly think on some factors on those lines and get back to you. Maybe we can do a bit of discussion as well and come up to a number as to how many people we think we can actively capture amongst this audience, right?
Sure.
Out of the market, let's say if a person has an option, like, so basically the way I'm looking at it right now is, if you look at the business user, they aren't going to be as price sensitive, and let's say about 20% of them have their own company tie-ups, so they're utilizing cabs, but they're not the public cabs available. They aren't looking for them. So we have only 80% chunk of them that are remaining. Out of these, so I get a number. Similarly, on the leisure taxi side, leisure users perspective, they are equally likely to go with any other cab service. So let's say, in totality, where do we see ourselves placing? What part of the market share do you think we can capture?
So how I see it is, let's say you're talking about 80% of the people, business people who
Right,
won't have their office. So that's around 120.
right,
So a large chunk of them, since it's correct that they do not have any preference, but then Ola, Uber are a household name now. Everyone knows about Ola and Uber, and
right,
it's very convenient for them.
correct. So,
So I would say we wouldn't be able to capture more than, let's say, a 10 or 15% market share in the beginning.
right, I would say that I would have that in mind because I thought, there are about five or six alternative people have, factoring in also their preference and their commonality in how comfortable people are with it. I would say something of the 10 to 20 orders seems fine. For convenience sake, would it be fine if I take 10%?
It makes sense. Well,
Right. So here I have about 120 cabs as was established from the business user's perspective. And to recap on the custom on the leisure side, again, as they are equally likely to take something,
that's
we
the
just
same.
stick with the number 18. So this gives us a total of 140. I factor this with about 10% as we discussed, which comes out to 14 cabs. Multiplying this with the number of planes we have, 12. I'll just quickly go over that math once. That will give me,
Let's say 150.
yeah, it's about 170. It's basically 12 times 14, so about 170 is the number of cabs that we are going to require in a peak hour.
Mhm.
So I think this number seems fairly accurate, either fairly feasible. It's not something that is too small or too large. The one of the factors that I would want to bring up is we haven't considered the aspect wherein the same cabs can be utilized multiply in a particular hour. As in, there would be a cab that is going to drop someone and can also accept another trip. So those are some other additional factors that maybe could be data driven, or if you would like, we could discuss that in a bit more depth. That could reduce the number of cabs. I think that reduction might not be something significant. It might be order of 10, 20 cabs because the mapping is not going to be as simple. So let's say, as you mentioned, we'd come down to somewhere around 150 cabs. This would be the final answer from my side for this particular problem.
That makes sense. So you have justified the number. That's great. One last aspect I would like to ask is, would you like to give some recommendations to this client for, starting this business and how to establish themselves a notch apart from Ola and regular Ola and Uber? Do you have some recommendations?
Definitely. I'll just take a couple of minutes to think on the business point of view for this and get back to you. I'll not be factoring in those numbers again at this point. I'll just be a bit more
Okay,
qualitatively, if that's all right.
perfect.
Right. I'll just take a second. Got it. So from basically, I'll just go over the business model from my understanding. I feel there are a
Mhm,
couple of ways we can deploy this model out there. One option is we be
mhm,
an independent entity. We are a cab provider. Example would be, let's
mhm.
say, an alternative to Ola, Uber, or the more traditional options we have like Meru cabs or something of that sort. We're an independent
Uh-huh.
entity. Another alternative that we can look is collaborations, because from my understanding, brief understanding of this entire space, there are people who used to have car rental programs which are supplying their cars to other companies as collaborations. They put their cars in up for Ola or Uber, or they have a tie-up with a particular company. I feel this approach might be a bit more suitable because, as we had a brief discussion about it, people are already quite accustomed with Ola, Uber. How interested they would be to pick another alternative is questionable. So let's say if we are not able to have a differentiating factor out there, a collaboration
Mhm,
might be a suitable alternative we can look into. Now coming into the aspect that I briefly touched upon, differentiation. That if we want to be an independent organization out there, there has to be something that is differentiating for us. Couple of
sure.
factors that we can come up with is, one is obviously the price. So
Mhm,
how, if we are out there, can we actually be more economical to people? Here again, it might be difficult to complete because Ola and Uber are fairly reasonable, and the typical business traveler is not as price sensitive. Yes, the company will
correct.
be because they are paying for it, but I think the margin of difference we'd not be able to establish something very significant there.
Correct.
So one only other differentiating factor I think we can think about is there's a niche particularly which is not fulfilled of lady driven cabs. So
Ah,
let's say that is a sort of, that's just one representative example that came to my mind in this time I took out. If we have
mhm.
something of that aspect, wherein we're catering to a very specific audience which is not particularly fulfilled. Like, as from my knowledge, there aren't as many cabs. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but there's not any service that is very popular out there that has cabs that are driven by ladies for people, for lady passengers who feel more safe. So let's say if we have some product like that is creating to an audience, of course the number of cabs requirements will have to be recalculated for this, but
Yeah,
nonetheless that is the area we can actually establish a significant market.
that's actually very interesting. Yeah.
Right. I think this would be it. Like, I can obviously take some more time, but I would ask you
No,
to just
that would be it. So, can you quickly synthesize the case then?
sure. I'll just take a minute. I'll just put everything together and
Of
get back.
course, of course.
All right. So I'll just give you a brief overview of the approach we took up for this case.
Mhm.
The way we solved this, we realized for understanding the fleet size, we need to really observe the peak hour traffic. We went through multiple factors such as the number of flights, number of people, so on and so forth. And
Uh-huh.
we arrived at a number through extensive discussion, which was
Mhm.
approximately a fleet size about 150. Again, to
Mhm.
recap, this fleet size is going to be sufficient for peak hours, therefore it's going to be sufficient for the rest of the day.
Okay.
Thereafter, we digressed into a bit of conversation as to how, as a new player, how can they establish a significant footing uh, in the market space right now. There are two options. One is we go for a collaboration, which is either with current aggregators or with independent companies as their provider, or we can
Uh-huh.
go for independent, in which case putting some time into diversification and establishing a unique selling point for our particular product might be helpful. One of the random ideas that I would not say random, but one of the particular representative examples we discussed was the scenario for cabs for women. But yeah, there's of course more room to discussion for this, but this was what was briefly discussed in our
That's
uh,
that's
purview.
that's that's great, Ashish. So a quick feedback. You solved the case very well, and you were Misi all the time. That's one good thing to be kept in mind. And you gave a rationale behind every assumption. You explained all your steps. More importantly, your line of thought. You were speaking on out your line of thought, and that was really good. That was keeping me in the loop as well. And you gave some real life examples, and the idea of getting lady drivers was something very creative and unexplored. So yeah, overall a very good case. So
Okay,
that would be it. Thank you.
sure. Thanks, Anish.
That's